in Oklahoma City. We'll have the latest. And the jury enters day 3 of deliberations in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Also, why this green beer isn't just for St. Patrick's Day, although it could be a good luck charm for climate change.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
An Oklahoma man is hours away from his execution after the state's governor declined to step in. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, Julius Jones was sentenced to death almost 20 years ago for the murder of Paul Howell. It happened in 1999 when Jones was 19 years old. He has always maintained his innocence. But Howell's family believes Jones is responsible and deserves to die. Maria Villarreal reports from the state capitol in Oklahoma City, where she spoke to Jones's sister.
This is a state of emergency. This is a man's life on the line.
Antoinette Jones knows time is running out to save her brother. Her family visited him in prison Wednesday for what could be the last time.
It was very hard in the fact that I wanted to hug my brother and that I haven't hugged my brother 17 years.
On July 28, 1999, Paul Howell was murdered outside his parents' Edmond, Oklahoma home in front of his family. His SUV was stolen, and a witness reported seeing a black man with a red bandana and 1 to 2 inches of hair shoot the father of 2. 3 days later, 19-year-old Julius Jones was arrested. His family says eyewitness descriptions did not match Julius, who at the time had a shaved head. They also say he was home at the time of the murder. Wednesday, his mother, surrounded by supporters, pleaded for his release.
The truth will set you free. We talk about justice. Justice for who? Justice for all of us.
Earlier this month, Oklahoma's Pardon and Parole Board recommended his sentence be commuted, asking the governor to change it to life in prison with the possibility of parole.
I am not the person responsible for taking Mr. Howell's life.
But Paul Howell's family says that's not true.
He was an innocent man taking his kids to get ice cream with my aunt, and he was murdered in front of me and my sister and my aunt, all for a car.
Julius Jones's fate is now in the hands of Oklahoma's Republican Governor Kevin Stitt, who so far has only met with the Howell family. This is the first death row clemency case he's faced. If the governor doesn't do anything, the execution will go as planned. It's set for 4 p.m. Central Time. Mireya Villarreal, CBS News, Oklahoma City.
Police have set up barricades outside the governor's mansion in preparation for any potential unrest. In Missouri, the Dallas County Sheriff says investigators have confirmed a body found on the property of a kidnapping suspect is that of the victim, Cassidy Rainwater. And now prosecutors have filed new first-degree murder charges against James Phelps and Timothy Norton for Rainwater's death. The prosecutor also charged them with the abandonment of a corpse. They were each facing kidnapping charges in Rainwater's disappearance. You can read more about this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, the cold has definitely arrived, but is it here to stay? Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at the forecast.
Most popular question that came to the Skywatch Weather Center this morning: when's the last time it was this cold? When's the last time it was this cold? How far back do we have to go? It was Saturday.
Oh, not too far.
I know. It was, I double checked all the questions that we received today, because I thought maybe we'd be diving back into,
last winter,
even maybe turning the calendar and whatnot. And no, Saturday we bottomed out at 28 at Joplin Regional Airport.
Ooh.
Just one of those things where hopefully everybody was sleeping in, right? Everybody up, out and about on a Thursday. But when we take a look at our high temperatures here, that's that daily high of Saturday was 50. That's where, that's where we stand right now. So yeah, this morning was frigid. I just think a whole lot more people were out and about and paying attention to it, as our November average high still sits at a pretty good 61.2 degrees. There we are outside of Television City. Looks can be a little deceiving because you'd think that sun would do a better job warming us up, but just a smattering of 50s. It's really from mid to high 40s is what we're experiencing right now. But remember, we don't hit our peak heating hours till about 2:30, 3:30. So we got a little bit to go. And all that cloud cover we had along I-44, that is now pushed down to the southeast. Not a whole lot going on, minus that one band that's riding the cold front in between the warmer temperatures to the southeast and mid-Atlantic. But the cold front will continue to drop down on those places that we see highlighted, whether it be Atlanta, Raleigh, D.C. No, they're all going to get a taste of it as well. And so consider this, we beat them to the punch, and so we not only get dry weather, but we get to rebound faster than they do as well. Overnight lows for Friday, we're only talking about being in the 40s. And then as we work to the 7-day forecast, how about a delightful weekend, 62 and 57 on Saturday and Sunday. Tanya coming up here in just a little bit. I'll give you a reason to get up at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Partial lunar eclipse.
I like that.
I need like the big sign. We have these lights in front of the Skywatch Weather Center that actually we can do different colors with them. We need one that goes off when Michael goes into nerd alert mode. Like if they could start blinking.
I'm excited about it.
I'm going to get everybody else
excited about it this morning. So everyone else,
I'll try to get everybody else excited.
Get ready. Get ready. All right. Thanks, Michael. Well, there's been a surprise development in the Ahmaud Arbery trial. Topping Nation Watch, the defense called Travis McMichael to the stand as its first witness. He is the man who shot Arbery to death in February of 2020. McMichael is on trial along with his father, Greg McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan. The three men chased Arbery down while he was on a jog. They claim they were trying to make a citizen's arrest. Jurors in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial spent all day Wednesday deliberating without returning a verdict and returned today to continue reviewing the case. The jury began deliberations on Tuesday morning after prosecutors and defense attorneys presented their closing arguments. Rittenhouse is charged with killing 2 men and wounding a third at a protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year. For the latest trial updates, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. There are new concerns for the safety of missing Chinese tennis superstar Peng Shuai after she accused a former government official of sexual assault. Top tennis officials are casting doubt on the authenticity of an email claiming to be from Peng that was posted on social media by state media. The message says she is safe and that the assault allegation is untrue. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, why an Australian brewery owner believes algae is the answer to climate change. And later, we're making easy pumpkin pie ice cream in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Green beer is something you usually only serve around St. Patrick's Day, but a brewery in Australia wants people to start sipping it every day to help fight climate change. CBS's Ian Lee explains why.
Looking around this brewery, something might seem out of place. Green tanks of bubbling algae are probably more fitting in a mad scientist's laboratory.
It's mind-blowing.
But Australian brewer Oscar Mcmahon is harnessing the algae to make green beer. Not in the way you're thinking.
The algae is just part of the production process. It never touches the beer. This is not green beer.
During the beer's fermentation process, carbon dioxide is released.
Basically, the CO2 is then ingested by microalgae.
So instead of floating off into the atmosphere, the greenhouse gas is captured and fed to the algae, producing oxygen.
For combating climate change, algae capture CO2 up to 400 times more efficiently than tree.
The more CO2, the more algae. And all that green stuff is not just thrown away.
This is the grain left over from the brewing process. This currently goes out as cattle feed.
Scientists say adding algae to cattle feed reduces the gas cows pass, which means less methane in the air.
Happy anniversary.
Amanda Thompson likes doing her part for the planet, 1 pint at a time.
So we're happy to have a beer, have a chat, change the world.
All the while toasting to a greener future. Ian Lee, CBS News.
Experts say the carbon emitted by fermenting hops to make a 6-pack of beer can take a tree 2 days to absorb. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
We may not have the power to turn a pumpkin into a carriage, but we do have a recipe to turn it into the best ice cream ever.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Now, if early this morning caught you off guard and you were thinking, oh, I need a couple more layers to put on, completely understand. Don't get caught off guard, though, tonight into tomorrow, because we're not only going to have almost a repeat, in fact, we're actually going to see freezing temps, more widespread even than what we had this morning. Currently sitting over 7th and Rangeline, we're trying to get up to that 50-degree mark. We've had plenty of blue sky and sunshine. The cloud cover, though, actually kind of hurting us overnight as far as all that heat leaking out of the ground. Feels like only 45 degrees, so we still have a wind chill in effect. We're starting to pick up some 50s throughout southeast Kansas, which is interesting because this is actually where we had our cooler temperatures this morning compared to what we saw in southwest Missouri. Now, we're not talking about a wide gap anywhere. Miami's already picked up to 50, and everybody's going to end up about 52, 53 degrees. There won't be any wide disparity. Little shift in the wind, now moving in from the northwest instead of due north, but at the same point in time, now we're starting to pick up double digits. So we got to factor in a little uptick of the wind. We got to factor in very dry weather as well, because this is going to be elevated fire concerns. You go, how can we talk about elevated fire concerns when we still have wind chills that are as low as 41 degrees? It's just a matter that our humidity is so low. Earlier this morning, these numbers were sitting at minus 30. So at least we've seen a little bit of a bump up. We won't be quite on par with where we were on Wednesday, certainly, but it looks a whole lot better than a minus 30. Earlier, we had just a little cloud cover. It's now dropped off. Bunch of high pressure just hanging over not only us, but kind of follows the jet stream as it creates that trough down here for all the rain activity east of the Mississippi. If we turn out and head toward the Rockies right there, this is absolutely gorgeous, because when you get all that blue, what that means is nothing but blue sky and sunshine. Now, luckily, we're going to get a little cloud cover here before the weekend, but the fact that we're going to be sans cloud cover for Thursday into Friday, well, that's why we're going to drop down below the freezing point again. So working through the afternoon, not much of a big bump up. Remember, it's not one of those things where we have any watches, warnings, advisories when it comes to red flag, but with that elevated fire concern, know that we don't have any moisture coming in out of the south to really kind of help us out in that aspect of it. And then overnight, here we go. Throw up some widespread 30s. But here's why overnight into Friday is kind of neat too. So as we get down here, I'm just saying, if you don't have early morning plans, like if you want to wake up with me at 3 o'clock, there's 4 o'clock on Friday, multiple layers. This is the cool part of it. Partial lunar eclipse is going to be on us tomorrow morning. So here are the times that I broke down, specifically made it for Joplin. And our good friends at timeanddate.com, you can actually go and type your exact address, zip code, or whatever you want, and you can get a better breakdown of it. But these will give you the idea. So look, at midnight, you're not missing anything. Naked eye is not going to be able to see it. It won't matter. Say about 1:15, yeah, okay. Now we're seeing a little development. Peak time, just after 3 a.m. Friday morning. And what you'll notice is, this is of course when the earth gets in the way of the sunlight and the shadow blocks out the moon, you're going to see a distinctive red ring. Reason it turns red? Well, because our atmosphere has a tendency to diffract and deflect light as it comes off of that. And so that's why we get those amazing different shades. And not only that, as Tanya alluded to earlier, this is what's known as the micro full moon. We've heard about those super moons. That's when the moon's close and it looks so full. The micro is actually our fullest moon of the year that's going to be the farthest away. Oh, by the way, November full moon, also known as the Beaver full moon. So in essence, what you have is a micro Beaver lunar eclipse. That's what I got for you. 7-day forecast on you as we push into the weekend, the return of the 60s, and like I said, Friday and Saturday overnight lows are going to be absolutely fine. And we're lucky. Can you imagine if we had clouds obscuring our lunar eclipse?
So you explained the eclipse, the micro definition.
Micro because it's so far away.
So why is it called a beaver moon?
That's what we call our November beaver moon, because that would be, go back to your Native American names for the moons, and you would be hunting and pelting.
Okay. Not the peak time for beavers to be chopping down trees.
No, they probably should have already had that done, because I know a couple creeks that I've already got my friends and neighbors mad that they're starting to back up.
There you go. All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Purple Heart recipient Johnny Carey Jr. in the U.S. Army. Parsons, Kansas native, joined the 96th Division 382nd Regiment in 1941. The warrant officer fought at the battles of Lafayette and Okinawa, earning 2 Bronze Stars and the Presidential Unit Citation. To Johnny Carey Jr., we thank you, our 4-state hero.
Hi, I'm Andy with Kramer's Meats. We serve the finest and freshest meat. KC strips, fillets, ribeyes, T-bones, and more. Roasts, brisket, ground beef, chuck, and sirloin. Come see us, the Kramer family, saving you money since 1966.
Missouri's future is looking brighter than ever. At Lander Chevrolet of Joplin, we're proud to continue to do good, feel good, recognizing Missouri's classroom heroes by awarding the best of our state's teachers and shining a light on all they do for the kids in this great state. Go to moclassroomheroes.com to nominate a deserving teacher today. Brought to you by Lander Chevrolet of Joplin.
We're making homemade ice cream that touts one of our favorite fall flavors, pumpkin. It's an easy pumpkin ice cream, pumpkin pie ice cream that is, in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As we head into Thanksgiving, our craving for everything pumpkin seems to be going strong. As a matter of fact, for those of us who can never seem to get enough pumpkin, we came up with an easy pumpkin pie ice cream that'll certainly satisfy your craving. To make it, we begin by combining a can of pumpkin pie filling with sweetened condensed milk, vanilla, and a pinch of salt. Then we fold in some freshly whipped cream and some chopped pecans. Now, we pour half of this mixture into a loaf pan and top it with a pie crust that we bake with some cinnamon and sugar. After layering the whole thing again, all that's left to do is pop it in the freezer. Once it firms up, you'll have the creamiest, most pumpkin-y flavored ice cream ever. Plus, in each bite, you'll get the flakiness of the yummy cinnamon pie crust. To get the recipe for what we call easy pumpkin pie ice cream, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a creamy, pumpkin-y kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
We can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Still a chilly afternoon, even with all of our sunshine. This we're just going to hang in the low 50s. And remember, tonight back down below the freezing point. 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, that is the magical time if you want to get outside, brave that cold, bundle up, and catch the peak hour of the partial lunar eclipse.
And regardless, pretty much all night it'll be a great time to just see the micro.
Not a cloud in the sky.
All right. What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, prices for just about everything are on the rise, including food. That means Americans' Thanksgiving dinner is costing more. We're going to break down the menu and its price. Plus, a local organization talks about preps for the year's community Thanksgiving dinner. And the 9th annual Empty Bowls fundraiser supporting Joplin's Watered Gardens is underway at the Empire Market. Hope you join us for those stories. A whole lot more, of course. It's all coming up today on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dal. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.